Hi guys! Today I'm going to show you how to make a Murrine Kimbap. Unfortunately, I couldn't hire the teaching assistant today. Obviously, he was not interested in non-edible items. So today's demo, I will show you many still cuts and I hope you don't mind it. This is my studio in the basement. It is quite small and I'm still adding more equipment, but it is a decent place to work. I have a tiny annealer, work table, Carlisle CC torch, a hand torch, 2 oxygen generators, gas concentrator, and a ventilation. In the past, I have worked in many different types of studio. A studio with no window but huge ventilation, a studio with no ventilation but huge windows, a studio in the first floor, studio in the garage. In terms of ventilation, the basement was the worst place to work since there is not much airflow. I had to spend a lot of time to build the hood and the dock. I started with a medium-sized fan and later I realized that it was not enough. Eventually, I installed an inlet fan and an outlet fan that works like a jet engine. Ventilation is extremely important if you are setting up your own studio. I will cover the studio setup further in a different lesson. Before lighting up the torch, I would strongly recommend to make a sketch of your Murrine. The Murrine making requires lots of colors, so you want to plan it well in advance. You don't want to be short in the middle of the process. The real size drawing can give you a good insight about the amount of the colors you need. For today's Kimbap Murrine, I prepared orange sublime jet black from North Star, yellow from Boro Bars, paparazzi and snow white from Glass Alchemy. I did a bit of a prep work for each ingredient. For cucumber, I added a thin line of opaque green around the sublime to make the color more visible. For steamed rice, I encased the snow white into a clear tube to give a translucency and a grainy looking. The orange was flattened to copy sliced carrot. The yellow stayed as a square, only merged together. Then it is ready to be assembled. This type of Murrine, I would usually start the assembly with the centerpiece, or in this case, I would start with the 2 thickest ingredients. Then it will become a stable core while you keep adding other components. Each component is already shaped, so to keep the shape, I would not hit them too much. I don't want to deform them too much. I would only hit on the torch side to make sure a good seal. For the typical build-up type Murrine, I usually recommend to hit your feeding rods hot and soft enough to paint it almost flat on the surface to avoid any air bubbles. But this one is different. It is rather a letter type Murrine. Each component is already shaped, so I would focus more on keeping the shape, and then I would not care much about capturing bubbles because of the original design. From this moment, I would not cool it down under the annealing temperature since I know that the potential cold seal between the 2 pieces would increase the risk of a thermal shock. For Murrine making, I always assign a good chunk of time for the job so that I can continue working from the very beginning to the end. Now I'm adding a line of white onto the crease between the pink and yellow so that I can avoid any potential air bubble captured in between. However, I would not push the white too hard since I don't want it flat. I will just soften it and press it just enough to make a good seal. Now it is time for a cucumber. Same principle, not too hot to bend the piece, not too cold to create a cold seal. Now I'm trying to keep them straight. Filling the gap with the whites again. Time for carrots. Since it was already flat piece, I pressed the orange a bit more than other rounded pieces. So here's a Murrine basic. You see, I'm holding my main rod almost parallel to the torch flame so that I can keep the whole side area warm. On the contrary, my feeding rod, the orange, in order to maintain the firm press downwards, I should hold it with a greater angle so that I can only hit the tip of it. The angle is a key to control the amount of the new coat. At this point, I'm adding whites here and there to make the shape rounded from the top. I always find that I need the white surprisingly a lot. According to my drawing, it seems like you need 8 times more white than other colors. Continue to cover the core. Try to cover uniformly. Try to keep everything the same length. Look through the top time to time to check whether the color ingredients are on center. When you apply the white line all the way down, when you reach the end and pull and cut, you will see it leaves a pointy tail. It will bother the next coat, so make sure to press it down with a marker right away. This part is the most time consuming for the whole process. Make sure to keep the whole thing warm until the end. You can have a coffee break now. Better to keep the top clean so that you can check the design time to time. Okay, last part. I picked jet black and paparazzi for a seaweed paper. Jet black is a great strong black, but maybe too blacky to be a seaweed, so I added a bit of a paparazzi. When you hold the real seaweed paper in front of the light, you will find it is actually a very dark green. I hope the paparazzi gives the similar look. As I said before, during the coating, the angle of the feeder is the key to control the amount of the new coat. I want to make the seaweed layer as thin as possible, so I'm holding my jet black even more than 90-degree angle, so that I can heat just the tip of my black with a great amount of pressure while coating. Push the tails down. Unfortunately, my phone was overheated. I couldn't videotape the pulling, but hey, you know what it is. Just the even heating without twisting and pulling straight, easy. Actually, the piece was a bit challenging size for my oxygen generators. The flame was not that powerful, so it took a long time to make a whole thing soft. It really tested my patience. In order not to waste any colors on each end, it is better to cover the end with clear or attach Maria handles for even pulling. This time my studio setup was not ready for it. After torch annealing, I used the ring saw to cut. This would be the most exciting moments of all. Here's my Murrine Kimbap. Okay, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the two demos, Kimbap and Murrine. Through the demos, I wanted to show you the similarity in two techniques from completely different fields. And I hope you to think about the possibility of adapting techniques in different fields to flameworking. For the students in my class, as I explained in the class, please respond to this question. Can you bring a technique, method, idea in different fields to flameworking? Do your research on the technique or method in different fields. Adapt the technique to create idea sketches for flameworking. Please refer the presentation file as well. Please bring me some crazy ideas. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.